Students, we can see here a specimen of internal organs of female reproductive system. Internal organs include uterus with pair of fallopian tubes, pair of ovaries and vagina. This is vagina. Actually, this is section of vagina. We cut through the wall of vagina and the vaginal canal is open here. So, this is vagina, this is uterus. Now, parts of uterus. Uterus is divided into body of uterus and cervix, and this dome shaped part is fundus of uterus. Then here is another specimen of uterus. This is only uterus, vagina is removed from this part. Then we take a section over uterus to see the thickness of wall of uterus. Can you see thickness of wall of uterus, how thick it is? Then this is cavity of uterus. This is cavity of uterus. Then this is ovary, almond shape, pinkish color. This is ovary. This is fallopian tube. Then I hold the femoral end of that fallopian tube. We can see the broad part, ampulla of fallopian tube. This is ampulla. Then this is fallopian tube, tubular structure attached to the angle between body and fundus of uterus. This is fallopian tube. Ovaries. Ovaries are suspended here with the help of this ligament. This is ligament of ovary. This ligament is ligament of ovary. Then can you see the ligament in between these two structures, fallopian tube and ovary? This translucent part is broad ligament. Broad ligament encloses fallopian tube, ligaments of ovary, ligaments of vessels of ovary, then uterine vessels, ureters, round ligaments. These all are the contents of this broad ligament. We can see these are the ovarian vessels. These ovaries are attached to the posterior layer of this broad ligament through mesovarium. Mesovarium is a fold of peritoneum which attach to the anterior border of ovary and to the posterior layer of broad ligament. So, the ovaries are attached to broad ligament through mesovarium. This is mesovarium. Then at here another ovary, ligament of ovary and the fallopian tube. Okay. Then we can see this is posterior view of uterus. Okay. So, we can see the ovaries better in posterior view. Then this is cervix of uterus. This is cervix of uterus. Can you see this hole? This is os of cervix. Then we can see the cuttage of broad ligament. Here is broad ligament, in which we can identify the round ligament. Yes, this is round ligament, which is one of the content of this broad ligament. Broad ligament is a fold of peritoneum. Okay, and this round ligament is a true ligament of uterus, okay, which kept uterus in position. We can see femoral end is very clear here. This is femoral end of fallopian tube, and this is ampullary part of fallopian tube. Okay, this cut edge is of round ligament at the angle of attachment of fallopian tube with the uterus. This is round ligament. Okay, and these are the ovaries, almond shape ovaries, pinkish color, almond shape ovaries. We can see the rough surface of ovary. This is rough due to ovulation. Okay. So, here is the model of uterus. We can see the section of uterus and vagina, in which this is cavity of uterus, triangular cavity of uterus. This is the fundus, wall of fundus. Then these are the walls of uterus, cervix, vagina. This is posterior wall of vagina. Then these two are broad ligaments on either side of uterus. These broad ligament contain the fallopian tubes. We can see fallopian tube on the posterior side of this broad ligament. We can see attachment of ovary. This is section of ovary showing follicles. Ovary, here complete ovary. The femoral end, we can see finger like structures, femoria. Femoral end of fallopian tube is attached to the ovary. Here we can see the four parts of fallopian tube. First is intrauterine part. This part is located inside the wall of uterus. This is intramural part or intrauterine part. Then this narrow part is isthmus. This narrow part is isthmus. This part is isthmus. And then the broad part is of ampulla, ampulla of uterus. This is the longest part of fallopian tube, ampulla. Fertilization occurs here inside this ampulla. And then fourth part is femoral end. Femoral end. fimbrias are present here, which are attached to the ovary. One of the fimbria is strongest and longest, called as ovarian fimbriae, which is closely attached to this ovary. Okay.